The email congratulated the wrong man. Ethan Cole stared at the screen, reading the subject line again and again, waiting for it to change, waiting for the company to admit the mistake, but it did not. The promotion he had worked toward for 7 years had been given to someone else, his best friend, the man he trained, the man he trusted, the man who knew every weakness he had. If you are listening to this story, stay until the end and share it with someone who believes betrayal always looks obvious. Sometimes it wears a familiar face and calls itself loyalty. Ethan did not react the way people expected. There was no outburst, no confrontation, no slam doors. He closed the email, stood from his desk, and congratulated Marcus with a smile so convincing that even Marcus believed it. Marcus Hale was brilliant in one specific way. He knew how to be liked. He laughed easily, spoke confidently, and let other people believe they were leading, while he followed just enough to seem harmless. What Marcus lacked was depth. What he lacked was vision. What he lacked was experience at the level the promotion required. That experience belonged to Ethan. For years, Ethan had been the architect behind major decisions. He solved problems before they became disasters. He advised quietly while others took credit loudly. And when the promotion came down to him or Marcus, the board chose the man who looked easier to control. Marcus celebrated that night. Ethan attended the party. He drank, laughed, and raised a toast to his friend, all while making one decision that would change both of their lives. He would stay, not out of loyalty, not out of hope, but out of strategy. The next morning, Marcus arrived at his new office early, nervous energy buzzing beneath his excitement. He had the title, the power, and the attention. What he did not have was the ability to sustain it. Ethan knocked on his door. "I want to help you succeed," Ethan said calmly. "This role is brutal. The expectations are higher than you think." Marcus hesitated. Pride flared, then faded. "I would appreciate that," he said. "I cannot afford to fail." Ethan smiled. "You will not. Not if you listen." From that moment, the mentorship began. Ethan taught Marcus how to navigate board meetings, how to speak without saying too much, how to appear decisive while remaining flexible. He coached him through difficult calls, guided his public statements, and quietly corrected his mistakes before they became visible. Marcus rose quickly. The board praised him. The company praised him. The industry noticed him. And behind every major decision, Ethan stood unseen. What Marcus never realized was that Ethan was not just teaching him how to rise. He was teaching him how to depend. Every process Marcus relied on was designed by Ethan. Every strategic partnership flowed through channels Ethan controlled. Every crisis response depended on systems Ethan maintained. Marcus believed he was leading. In reality, he was being carried. Months passed. Marcus became more confident, more ambitious, more reckless. He stopped asking questions and started making declarations. He believed his success was proof of his superiority. Ethan watched quietly. When Marcus dismissed a senior analyst who questioned him, Ethan said nothing. When Marcus cut corners to impress investors, Ethan adjusted the framework to protect the company, not the man. When Marcus began to forget who had helped him rise, Ethan ensured that dependence deepened. The board announced the next step sooner than expected. Marcus was being considered for executive leadership. The night the announcement came, Marcus visited Ethan's apartment, drunk on confidence. "You see," Marcus said, smiling broadly, "they saw it. They saw what I bring to the table." Ethan poured him a drink. "They saw what works," he replied. Marcus laughed. "You should have applied again." Ethan met his gaze. "I already have everything I need." Marcus did not understand that statement. He would later. As Marcus moved closer to the top, Ethan quietly shifted his position. He stepped back publicly while embedding himself deeper operationally. His influence became invisible, unquestioned, essential. Then the first cracks appeared. A deal stalled unexpectedly. A partner withdrew support. A critical system failed during a presentation. Marcus panicked. Ethan resolved it within hours. "You saved me," Marcus said afterward. Ethan nodded. That is what mentors do. But Ethan had not saved Marcus. He had delayed the inevitable. The board began asking sharper questions. Investors wanted clarity. Marcus responded with confidence but lacked substance. Each time he reached for answers, he reached for Ethan. Dependence had replaced leadership. One afternoon, Marcus received a call that changed everything. The board wanted a private review. Ethan was not invited. Marcus entered the room alone for the first time. He did not leave as confident as he entered. That night, he called Ethan repeatedly. The calls went unanswered. For the first time since his promotion, Marcus felt something unfamiliar. Fear. Marcus did not sleep that night. He sat in his penthouse office long after the city lights dimmed, replaying the board meeting in his head. The questions had been polite, but the tone beneath them had shifted. He had felt it immediately. Trust was thinning. Patience was wearing out. For the first time since his promotion, Marcus realized how exposed he was. He called Ethan again. No answer. He sent messages. Nothing. By morning, Marcus convinced himself it was nothing. Ethan was reliable. Ethan always responded. He would fix this just like he fixed everything else. But Ethan did not come to work that day, or the next. By the third day, Marcus began to unravel. Meetings felt heavier. Conversations felt sharper. People listened differently. Where there had once been easy agreement, there was now hesitation. Where praise had flowed freely, there was now silence. Marcus tried to compensate. He spoke more. He asserted himself harder. He pushed decisions through without consultation. Mistakes followed. A supplier contract collapsed because Marcus misunderstood the contingency clauses. A compliance issue surfaced because a safeguard Ethan had designed was not maintained. A presentation to investors fell flat because the underlying data had not been vetted. The board called another meeting. This time, Ethan was invited. Marcus entered the room with a forced smile that did not reach his eyes. Ethan followed moments later, calm, composed, carrying a slim folder under his arm. The room changed when Ethan sat down. The board members straightened. Their attention sharpened. Their questions shifted direction. "Ethan," one of them said, "we would like your assessment." Marcus turned confused. Assessment of what? Ethan opened the folder slowly. Of the current leadership structure, of operational dependencies, of risk exposure. Marcus felt heat rise in his chest. "I was not aware this was a review." "It is not," the board chair replied. "It is a clarification." Ethan spoke calmly, methodically. He did not attack Marcus. He did not accuse him. He simply explained how systems functioned, how decisions flowed, how authority was distributed in practice, not on paper. With every sentence, Marcus felt something slipping away. "Are you saying I am not in control?" Marcus asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Ethan looked at him. "I am saying control is not where the title suggests it is." Silence followed. The board dismissed them shortly after. Outside the room, Marcus confronted Ethan. "What are you doing?" Marcus demanded. "Why would you undermine me like that?" Ethan met his gaze evenly. "I am not undermining you. I am answering questions." "You taught me," Marcus said. "You said you wanted me to succeed." "I did," Ethan replied. "And you did succeed, exactly as far as your dependence allowed." Marcus laughed bitterly. "You are angry because you lost the promotion." Ethan's expression did not change. "No, I am precise because I learned from the loss." That night, Marcus reviewed everything. He traced workflows. He examined approvals. He followed decision trees. Every path led back to Ethan. Contracts, systems, advisory roles, external relationships. all connected through frameworks Ethan had built and maintained. Marcus had authority, Ethan had control. The realization made Marcus physically ill. The next weeks were brutal. The board began bypassing Marcus for technical decisions. They consulted Ethan directly. Marcus was included out of formality, not necessity. Whispers circulated. Marcus attempted to reassert dominance by restructuring teams. The move backfired. Productivity dropped. Accountability blurred. The board intervened. Ethan remained steady throughout. When Marcus demanded answers, Ethan provided them. When Marcus tried to remove him from processes, dependencies surfaced that made removal impossible without significant damage. Marcus finally understood the trap. He had climbed a ladder that Ethan had built, and Ethan was the only one who knew where it led. Desperate, Marcus tried a different approach. He invited Ethan to dinner. The restaurant was expensive. The view impressive. Marcus spoke carefully. "We are friends," Marcus said. "We built this together." Ethan nodded. "We did not build it together. I built it. You occupied it." Marcus leaned forward. "What do you want?" Ethan paused, then answered honestly. "I wanted you to experience the role you took from me, fully, completely, without illusions." Marcus's voice cracked. "You planned this." Ethan did not deny it. "I adapted to it." The final blow came quietly. The board announced a restructuring. Marcus was reassigned to an advisory position. Publicly, it was framed as strategic realignment. Privately, it was a demotion without dignity. Ethan was promoted, not to Marcus's old role, higher. Marcus watched the announcement from his office, numb. He requested one final meeting. Ethan agreed. They sat across from each other in silence. "I trusted you," Marcus said. Ethan nodded. "I trusted you first." Marcus swallowed. "You could have destroyed me completely." Ethan stood. "I did not want to destroy you. I wanted you to understand what you took and what you were never prepared to carry." Marcus looked away. "Was it worth it?" Ethan considered the question. "Yes, because now the company is stable, and because you will never mistake proximity to power for mastery again." Ethan left. Marcus remained. Weeks later, Marcus resigned. He took a position elsewhere, far from the spotlight, far from the systems he once relied on, but never understood. Ethan continued rising, but unlike Marcus, he did not celebrate loudly. He did not posture. He rebuilt the culture quietly, transparently, ensuring no single person could ever hold illusionary control again. He had learned something valuable. Revenge did not need to be loud, it needed to be exact. And the most ironic punishment was not loss, it was clarity. If this story made you rethink betrayal, power, or the cost of underestimating the wrong person, share it with someone who needs the reminder. Follow for more stories where patience becomes strategy and silence becomes control.